Okay, I'm gonna speedrun a video talking about Olimar and the Shipmar, Ollie Rusty, whatever, because of that spammed video. But unlike this one is one speedrunning and two completely unscripted. Because I love giving myself more work when I have other shit to do. Before this starts, I just want to say that I'm not trying to make this sound like this is canon. This is almost 100% completely unintentional on Nintendo's part, but it is weird how much content there is for this. Like a weird amount. Like I started shipping these two because like it was as a joke. I was like, haha, they hate each other. It'd be funny if we made them lovers. And then there's like a weird amount of like evidence for this. Like a weird amount of substance that I found out like years later. The first really obvious one is that the ship has like beef with Omar for seemingly no reason. Immediately out the gate is like, oh man, Louis, oh Louis, you're so good at your job. And Olimar sucks. I hate Olimar. I think I'm peeking my mic right now, or whatever. Uh, and like, what did Olimar do? What the fuck did Olimar even do? He just got here, and he like we don't get a little, oh, Olimar and them have history together. But like why else would he be mean for no reason? There's also the fact that he weirdly knows a lot about Olimar. We'll get into that later. One thing that I see a lot of people say is like because of that is, oh, the ship just bullies Olimar. Poor little Olimar. He gets bullied. And while like he does get bullied by characters like the president or even his fucking wife, he, unlike those two, he's a bitch back to the ship. And no one ever talks about that bit. And a lot of this video you will probably be like, oh man, what Hoko talks about this all the fucking time on their Blue Sky. And yeah, I do. uh but here's a video of me putting it all into one thing. Actually, I'll probably forget something because this isn't scripted and I always forget something. But Olimar's a little asshole back. He's actually really, like, he can get fucking mean. Like he needs to work through some shit or something. But no one ever talks about that bit. But it's actually the only character Olimar is, stands up for himself and, is mean back. And, I would assume that you could make the argument that he doesn't say that shit out loud. But with how comfortable he is talking about the ship poorly in his notes, and he knows for a fact the ship can read them because the ship says according to your last notes at one point. And I guess you could say too that was just like the public ones versus the private ones, but I highly doubt it considering uh the the treasure like notes and sales pitches go hand in hand. Although like you also could say that's just game, which it is game mechanic, but looking at it in a story sub context, but or context. But he I find it really hard to believe that Olimar doesn't say shit out loud to the ship. And we just don't see it because, Olimar and Louis don't talk in Pikmin 2. We know for a fact they at least glare at the ship a few times. Because the ship says, "Oh, don't give me that look." Like, um, he says it. I believe he says it right before you enter the submerged castle, and right after you defeat the Emperor Bull Blacks and get the Scorch Guard. Why do I remember that? Uh, um, but he's like, oh yeah, I can't touch the water. I'm an expensive machine, and they give him this look, and he's like, don't look at me like that. I am expensive. I'm special. I swear. And then the other one is the oh my god, this thing is disgusting. It's covered in drool, and don't roll your eyes at me. I'll carry it for you. It'd be nice if you cleaned every once in a while, which is fucked up. They should really clean. That's disgusting. But anyways, yeah, so there's that. I they're the one people, they're the two people I think that they can be real with each other and not put up a front, because let's be real, neither of them are going to be mean to Louis. Um because Louis Louis. They're going to feel bad about that. Like he's just going to sit there. But you know, the ship can't be mean to the president. The president is like his only friend and can get him. He owns him, dog. That dude owns him. If he's mean to him, he could probably get him fucking killed. And a lot of this is gonna be like inferring from the context. Uh, so yeah, take with that what you will. I should probably added that at the beginning, but and Omar's like that's his boss, so he can't be mean to the president. And you know, he's just delusional or something about his wife. Like he loves his wife and is just like, oh man, she's like this because I fucking suck. But to be fair, he's not home a lot, and I understand that's frustrating, but like some of that shit. Oh, anyway, this isn't about that. So they're the only people they can be real to each other about that. But we also with Olimar get him being super petty, which I miss Olimar being super petty because it was really funny. Because he thinks he's such a like he thinks he's a fucking Rick and Morty fan. He's like, "Oh man, I'm just have superior intellect like that." Like, dude, shut up. And then he's like, "But no, the ship didn't do this." It's like sorry. Anyways, um so yeah, that's like the obvious stuff. I if you read the notes, he and I'm going to pull this up. It's very obvious that or you kind of realize that man, dude, Olimar brings up the ship a lot. And like sorry, I was pulling up the thing. I realized that. I was like, "Oh, dude, mentioning the ship again." And one day I just sat down and I went through every note from Olimar on the Pikmin wiki, and I counted every time he mentioned his immediate family. I don't think I counted when he mentioned his parents, which he only mentioned his mom once and his dad once. Every time he mentioned Louis, every time he mentioned the president, and every time he mentioned the ship. And I have some of these numbers in parentheses. I also grouped the kids together. But I have these numbers in parentheses, which is like, it's basically when they're not, nothing is said about them directly. It's like, oh yeah, my family, I miss my family, or some shit like that. Or the ship has a hole in it, or something that doesn't really say anything about their character. But he mentions his entire family 24 times, or 38 if you're counting the what I just said. He mentions there's a lot of 12s in this, by the way. I don't know why. He mentions his wife 12 times, or 20. And he mentions his kid 12 times as well, or 18. He mentions, now this one, for this one's good to know. He mentions Louis 12 times as well, or 13. So yeah, it's funny that he doesn't mention Louis that much. I mean, he mentions it as much as he mentions his wife and kids. So, I mean, at least that's something. He actually surprisingly doesn't, like, I thought he mentioned his family more, but he didn't. Um, Although he mentions them together significantly more. But the president was mentioned 10 times or 12. Again, 12. I don't know if they like met a quota or something. Like we have to mention them at least 12 times. Weird number. And then fucking say, oh, worth mentioning. I also, if the wiki gave me a the regional exclusives, and a lot of regional exclusives, especially the UK and US versions, have basically the same exact note. And I did not include those. If they were different enough, which some of them have completely different notes, I did include those for all of them, just so you know. But he mentions the ship 32 or 40 times. Yeah, so, that's more than he mentions his entire family. I have no idea if the noise I made just picked up, but dude, that's so fucking insane to me. Like, I know he mentioned him a lot, but, dude, and it's like, you could say, oh, well, they're like traveling together, it only makes sense, but, like, he travels with Louis and the president, like, bro. And a lot of the ship mentions aren't like, oh yeah, the ship and Louis and I did something today. There's actually really few of that. They're all like Olimar mentioning the ship out of nowhere. Like him just throwing shade at this thing for absolutely no reason. Like he just wanted to bring him up just to shade him. And it's so petty and like why I don't why are you that obsessed with him, dude? Come on. Like there's no way you can't. At that point it's at least more than hate. Like it has to be enrichment because why are you, I love to say this and I'm joking by the way, it's a meme. Why are you as a man letting up another man take up that much space in your brain? And you might say like, oh, the ship isn't a man or whatever. Olimar calls him a he a few times. The ship's mostly referred to as an it, but he calls him a he. Just saying, that didn't come out of nowhere. Anyways, yeah, one of the some of these fucking notes, dude. Let me go to one of them. So in the original GameCube and Wii versions, there is two treasures called Gemstar Wife and Husband. This one's also insane. The Gemstar Wife, he obviously talks about. Sorry, he obviously talks about his wife. For the Gemstar husband, take a wild guess who he mentions. And he says, fucking, and I quote, a captain views his ship as a partner, someone he can trust with his life. And then, I just should read the whole entire thing. It's crucial for them to develop an unquestionable, unfaltering trust. But I refuse to believe that this simple trinket is some kind of living gem. That's insane. He's talking about the ship saying that's living. Which, dude, Olimar, you literally trusted him on fucking saying the marble was a lovable partner. So, yeah, what the fuck is that about? Like, on the Gemstar husband. Okay, it is worth noting that they changed the Gemstar wife and husband's name in the Switch port. They just got rid of a lot of gendering stuff in the port. Some of it doesn't make sense. Like I don't understand why the Gemstar husband and wife were like weird to them or something. A lot of it makes sense. 'Cause a lot of it can come off as sexist. but I don't remember the Gemstar husband at least isn't sexist. But also worth noting that the English version of the GameCube and Wii say that they view your ship as a brother and partner, which I assume they mean brother in arms, but still weird. But what's weird about that is I'm guessing it was a translation error because that's not in the Japanese text at all. It just says a partner, and thankfully they did fix that. They did fix that in the port, so that doesn't even fucking matter anymore. But that haunted me for years. It does feel like a fucking brother in arms type of thing because that's never where did that even come from, and also like that's assuming all ships are male, which usually ships are female. So yeah, but it doesn't fucking matter because that was a weird translation error, I'm assuming. I don't know. That or the someone in Nintendo, someone at the goddamn translation team was like, this shit is kind of fucking gay. I need to like the Sailor Moon shit where they turned the two lesbians into cousins or some shit to make it to like censor it. Anyways, fucking weird. But yeah, why did Olimar do that? Like, if he had mentioned, it's so funny because if he had mentioned Louis in that note, I know damn well the fandom and Louis shippers would not stop mentioning that. But no, he mentioned the fucking ship and no one ever talks about that except me. Just saying, bro, just saying. And it's like, yeah, I get it, because, like, he's, it's his car, and it's silly, but you guys are forgetting that this is the same guy that wanted to fuck a marble. Was willing to have an affair with a marble. And also, you could view the wiggle noggin in a romantic subtext if you want to do that as well, where he's like, I've fallen for this company property, I'm gonna run away with it. Okay, bro. Objectum king, I guess. So fucking dumb. Before I forget, too, the thing I said about, them probably... They have to have some sort of history together. That's sort of... And this is, like, don't... Like, take this with a grain of salt. I don't really consider anything, from the comics super canon. Like, I mean, there's, like, little details like... Yanni can bake or something from that one Dingo birthday thing, which is like fine, that doesn't really affect anything. But Olimar does. These take place Pikmin 4 takes place before the debt happened, which is where, a lot of people assume that he met the ship. But he already knows about that ship. He has a dream about it where it turns gold. And he recognizes it. So, I mean, kind of implies that he knew it before it went into the fucking garage. My little headcanon is that Olimar used to pilot that. I'm not gonna even dive into the whole thing of the ship's backstory. You probably know it by now. Basically, he was the president's ship. President put him into storage when newer technology showed up, which is canon, by the way. And they never... I will never forgive Nintendo for only putting that on a very old Japanese Pikmin 2 website. Very cool, guys, thanks. Anyways, my headcanon is that, the president got too busy, had fucking the ship over here for his employees. Olimar's like his only employee, basically. Also, Olimar uses him, and so that's how they know each other. And Olimar gets the dolphin, which is probably newer tech. And, so, fucking, the ship over here gets put into storage, and he's bitter about that. So that's why he's being a bitch to Olimar immediately. And Olimar's like, damn, what the hell did I even do? Because he doesn't know. I don't think he even knows that machines have feelings right now. But, well, actually... That is canon. He literally is like, damn, maybe machines should not be worked so hard and have feelings and sentience. Like, dude, you're fucking. It's a good example of, and I'm rambling off. It's a good example of when someone says something like, "Oh yeah, these group of people, uh, they do this thing, or they view things a little differently, or just stereotypes of different groups." And people just believe that shit, even though it makes no fucking sense. I feel like that's what's going on with the machines, because like, how do you look at the ship and go, oh yeah, that thing doesn't have actual feelings. Like, the ship himself believes that, and like, dude just straight up says dude thinks about his own death. Okay, who programmed him to do that? Like, fucked up. Anyways, getting to what I was saying though, the ship weirdly knows a lot, and I get, again, I get that this is gameplay stuff, but I don't think it, unlike a lot of gameplay stuff, I don't think this hurts to look in this in a story standpoint, but this is, you know, you can very easily overlook this one. So anyways, the ship weirdly knows a lot about Olimar. You know, you could say a lot of his sales pitches are in some way related to like Olimar's past. Like, weirdly enough, there's some about his childhood and his childhood dreams, and it's like, how the hell does the ship know that? And I'm sure that he does read some notes. Like, I'm sure he's fucking, like, of course, they're probably both reading each other's notes. Like, let's be so for real. They're snooping on each other. They're petty. But it isn't just that, because the ship immediately names these things. And he's like, it reflects my current thinking. Again, why do I have that memorized? But so he sees these things, and he thinks of Olimar. Like, Olimar be like, I used to look at the stars when I was a little, Olimar. And the ship's sales pitch is like, do you remember when you used to look at the stars as a little kid? Like, okay. It could also be, you know, Olimar's looking at the ship's sales pitches and doing that, but there are some of them that just don't make sense. And it reads the other way around. They're definitely, either intentionally or not, they're working on those notes together. And they're very connected. The characters, those two in general, are super connected. They are the closest character to Olimar in the series is the ship. And that's what makes them hating each other extra funny, because they're so similar, and the game never puts that in your face. Like, it's not either like, oh man, the ship is a ripoff of Olimar, because he's obviously not. It's just that they're like, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they're so similar. They both are just, one, fucking assholes. Two, they're worn down and they're tired and they're sick of the system. Yes, the ship is sick of the system. So many people are like, oh man, he just loves working. All he cares about is work. No, he fucking doesn't. Literally, one of the first things he says is like, ready for another day of toiling for the profit of your company? Like, be so for real. Yeah, I'm sure he said that with extreme enthusiasm and wasn't like being sarcastic at all in that. There's a few other ones where he's just like, he's very cynical. He was especially cynical in the demo for some reason. But he's self-aware. He's stupid, but he's not that stupid. He literally makes a treasure where called Professional Noisemaker that he says like outshines him, and it's a horn. It looks like his horn, and he's like, makes your fucking rocket ship like 120% fucking more annoying or some shit like that. That one I don't remember, but yeah, like he also, I think he said like something about a miserable life or some shit like that. Like dude has problems. He's aware of how shitty the situation is. And he's not a fucking suck up. Like he is a suck up to the president, but he's not like he adores that man. He is fucking like the citrus lump over here. And that's another thing. People think that he's just over here like licking the president's feet or some shit like that. When he like in the Japanese text, he even says like the gold paint is tacky. Now this is from the wiki, so this could be wrong, but I don't know why they would randomly put this, but and then he quickly corrects himself to avoid offending the president. And the citrus lump, he literally says a hateful superior, which who else would he be talking about? And also Olimar's note mentions the president, so he's obviously talking about and he wants to get rid of it. He's not like, oh yeah, you know. He says it reminds him of a hateful superior, and he wants to get rid of it. Yeah, he sure loves the president. Like, I'm sure he has good memories of the president, but that dude locked him in a fucking garage, so it's understandable. But yeah, they're so like that. They're also like they need therapy. They both have thought about their own deaths. Um like the ship just casually mentioning like even machines ponder the shutdown at the end of the last shutdown or some shit like that. Like what do you fucking mean? Like you guys just casually think about your own deaths? Like you're having an existential crisis about your own mortality? Like okay, dude. And then fucking Olimar's over here like, man, this fucking weed, man, this shit can help me sleep, but it also could put me in eternal slumber, aka death. I should try it. Like, oh, what? And then Olimar also has that one in Pikmin 4 where he's like, maybe I should stop surviving such, like, horrible accidents. Like, okay, alright. They just randomly both get depressing. Like the ship literally is like this common ordinary nut fills me with sadness, or reminds me of myself and fills me with sadness. Which like that's so out of nowhere. All right, dude, that's not even a sales pitch. You're just venting at that point. They're both weird. They're both weirdly depressing. They both have like a complex about themselves, and the ship, I feel like a lot of his overly confidentness is a cover up. Olimar's isn't. Like not all of the overconfidence is a cover up. I think he does have a little bit of an ego at least. It's just complicated. Olimar just has a little bit of an ego. He doesn't really cover anything up. He's just genuinely nice for the most part. But yeah, so they both have that, weirdly enough. Which is so funny, because I know they would hate each other for it. Oh, another thing. Olimar, yeah, Olimar's first note in Pikmin 3 is complaining about the ship. His first ever, like, people, even I, for a while, thought that note by the crash ship in Pikmin 3 was after, the ship crashed, but you can see the number, it's entry number 1. And also, they would need to use that ship to get to the formidable oak. So yeah, the dude just immediately started complaining about that bitch. And in Pikmin 4, and this is just like a little reference, but he meets the yellow Pikmin. He goes like, "Yellow Pikmin name is better than ear Pikmin. Guess who calls the Pikmin ear Pikmin?" Yeah, that's right. This ship isn't even in that game, bro. Why are you mentioning it? It's just so fucking stupid. I hate them. They're both also hopeless romantics. The ship, and you could say like, oh, the ship's being romantic to sell stuff, but like where did he get the romance from, man? Yeah, they both just write super fucking sappy shit. I mean, Olimar's obviously a hopeless romantic. I don't even have to go into that one. But the ship, a lot of times, it's just like making up these fucking love stories and all that. Like, okay, dude, have you even loved it? Well, maybe he has. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Anyways, fucking. Oh, this one people never mention because people like to think that Olimar is just there's nothing wrong with him and he's not greedy or anything. Yeah, no, he is. He's a little bit greedy and power hungry. They both have moments that is like literally one of the only times they get along is the ship I think is talking about like upselling something and Olimar's like he might be onto something. Like, okay, Olimar. Um it was a lot more obvious again in the demo text, so that doesn't count. But yeah, they both and I know they would hate this about each other. Like they would be like, "Oh man, you're so greedy, you're so power hungry." And then they both do it. They literally they must go back and forth. It must be hell for Louis because I know damn well, I'm pretty sure there's multiple times where Olimar complains about something that he himself later does in a treasure. Um, uh, like, like literally he gets fucking, this is a little different, but he gets pissed at the ship for saying like, dude, stop eating the treasures that we're collecting. And Olimar's like, I would never do that. And then he's like, I just sampled the treasures today. Like, okay? Literally the fucking image Lexi made where it's like acting like a victim. Dude. But, like, I know they go back and forth. They're so hypocritical. They will get mad at each other for one thing and complain about it and then do the same thing like the next day. You can literally put them in a scenario where one of them gets pissed off and the other one's doing something and flip-flop them and it'd still be in character. And that's when you know something is peak. Like, it's so good. I eat that shit up. They're also both like old and decrepit, literally. Like, Alvar's not that old. He's like middle aged. The ship is kind of middle aged too, but they both like it's so funny because this is another thing, but this is a little different from hating each other for something they do. Olimar talks about how shitty the ship is, and then he talks about how his fucking back hurts. Like, you can't have a little bit of sympathy. The dude's old. He was left in a garage to rot, and you're being overworked and shit. Like, yeah. Another big one. They both died, like canonically, and then came back. That's a pretty big one. Um, yeah, they're both treated horribly, especially by the company. And like I said, they're sappy and poetic. So that's they both died. Uh, but there's other ones too that I'm probably gonna forget. Um, but maybe when I put this together, if I ever do put this together, I'll add that. But yeah, and despite all these, they're both also really fleshed out characters. No one ever talks about how fleshed out the ship is. I know I keep saying shit like that, but like, dude goes through a mini arc. Like, you can tell he's starting to get a little bit more attached to Olimar and Louis. He has some pretty sweet moments with them. But yeah, they have fucking major beef with each other still. And like it's really funny because they're so similar. And I miss them interacting so much because they had such a good dynamic. It's really good to see Olimar's flaws because so much of him is, and like I see people say it's out of character, but it's not. Like, it's not, it doesn't make him a horrible person. It makes him a flawed person. And one of my favorite things about the uh cast from 1 to 3 is that they all have moments where they're like an asshole. Louis's fucking obvious. He does a lot of assholery. Olimar's greedy sometimes, power hungry. People say the Plasm Ray thing where he went up to the formidable oak was out of character, but he wasn't even greedy there. Like, he's just trying to get home, man. He's being sent to this planet to repay a debt that he's already repaid, and the fucking president immediately fucked it up, and he has to go and do the president's dirty work again. So, I mean, and it's just like, oh, well, I mean, he didn't listen to Louis. Well, fucking, dude, Louis, we literally see in the notes, or the logs or whatever, Louis's kind of like, a dumb asshole. Like, he just fucking runs around and gets Pikmin killed, and that's like, no hate to Louis there. But, I mean, shit, he's probably just like, oh, Louis, whatever. Louis's always like that. And he just wants to get that thing. He's like, oh yeah, shit, that'll repay our last debt. We'll get out of here if we get that. He's not expecting a huge sentient monster to be up there. There's not even any monsters at the formidable oak. So he's like, oh shit, maybe there's nothing there. Maybe a few bulborbs. I don't know. I don't care. And, you know, it's a fucking huge sentient monster that captures him, and he's never been captured before. Especially by something that's so smart and is forcing him to go into sleep mode. The sleep mode thing is kind of a cop-out, but, you know, it's not that bad, honestly. It has some weird implications, but shit, man, okay. It's kind of something you can look past easily. I like that the creature is very obsessed with Olimar, and he's been captured by it, despite him being like the king of that planet basically at this point. But yeah, he's a fucking douchebag sometimes to the ship. No one ever, I need to stop saying that, but like, he's not perfect. He is a that doesn't mean he's a bad character, and that doesn't mean he's a bad person. He's a really, really good person, and he's a fucking doormat, and he needs to stand up for himself. There was actually a whole lesson, or a whole note where he's like, maybe I should take lessons about the ship on, like, how to be better at selling stuff or whatever. And I thought that was sweet. But, they do get along sometimes. I really do think they have, like, a friend-enemy shit at least going on, enrichment. But, yeah, Olimar's not perfect, and I like that a lot. He also, I mean, I know the marble thing isn't a joke, but, like, dude, my love is already spoken for, although, like bro said, unless, but, the president, again, that's obvious. The ship, that's also obvious. Yeah, the president making Olimar do all the shit, he's just obsessed with himself. He's funny, and he goes through some shit, but yeah, the ship also is just an asshole in general. He's mean. I will never recover from the one Pikmin 2 quiz thing, that apparently calls him emotionally distant, or disconnected. I don't know. Same thing. That's fucked up. Makes sense, but yeah, and then Alf, weirdly obsessed with Charlie to the point that he's willing to cockblock him. Like, dude, that Alf is a whole other thing. He, like, the whole reason he went on this trip is to be with Charlie, and his haircut is after Charlie. Every time Charlie tries to flirt with Brittany, he's like, oh wow, that's for me now. You got flowers for me, Charlie? That's great. My fucking obnoxious Alf voice. Which is so funny. I really do think they were doing some sort of love triangle there. I'm really starting to think that. But which like good on them. Charlie is he's kind of self-absorbent again, but he also just like keeps kind of low-key harassing Brittany. And then Brittany like she's just mean sometimes. The Pikmin 4 is when you start to lose that, which sucks. Dingo and Yanni I think actually are the best characters out of the Rescue Corp, at least the most fleshed out and fitting of the Pikmin universe. They both have asshole moments. Dingo's kind of again, he's like covering up his problems with being sort of an asshole. But his is a lot more obvious than the ship's. Yanni's just weird. Like, he helps people out, but he's also fucking weird, like performing cross-creature breeding experiments on the ship, or like, what, I don't know what that's about. Anyways, I don't even remember my original point. I need to go back and look at my original point. Okay, I went back to my original point, and I also got distracted. Fucking Melly and Gulia talking about the like Olimar randomly saying shit and like making shit up. That also reminded me that the ship and Olimar do that. Like I think a lot of Pikmin characters have like, what are you talking about moments. But yeah, they just, it's weird. I, this one isn't weird, but I remember the dream material treasure in Pikmin 2. They both get really depressing. They both talk about, like, dreams disappearing. Like, okay, you need therapy, please. They've just both just been betrayed and taken advantage of and have problems. A lot of problems. But yeah, maybe I'll come back to this and add stuff. I think I've said most of it, and this was supposed to be a speed run that was like a couple minutes. And I think this is gonna be like 20 minutes long or some shit. So, my bad. This is probably really bad. um, but I know I ramble off a lot, so my bad. Do put this on the background while you're drawing or something. You know, like maybe that'll help. Maybe you'll enjoy that. I'm gonna try not, I want to get this actually out, so I don't want to do a lot of editing because I will never get it done. Hopefully this is below 30 minutes or I won't be able to fucking edit it. I don't even know if this will come out. Anyways, yeah, so they're weird, and I could go about them on for hours, I believe, but I don't want to do that, and that would involve me rambling a lot. So, I'm not insane. They are very similar, and they work off each other really well, if only just friends. And they're so good. And there's weirdly a lot of evidence for them. Weirdly enough. Again, I started shipping this as a joke. And then it got serious, and I realized how much there is, and that's weird. And I wish more people saw my vision. My absolutely genius vision. I'm kidding about that. But yeah, man, they're weirdly good. They weirdly have a lot of evidence. Hope you enjoyed my insane rambling. Thank you for watching if you got this far. I don't know how to end the shit, damn.